when making an how do you call this? I can't say the word because it might get a bit of a problem. You know, the website ruins your life. The website, you know the one. By wavywebsurf. Never heard of this one, so we'll look at that. We'll look at that. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Is that the only pizza you eat? Nope. I got some extra stuff on there. I put spinach on it and mozzarella. And what else did I put on? Let me think. Egg. Anyways, we'll go in now. We'll go in. Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh, we start with my favorite. Bonnie.
OnlyFans is out of control.
Contaminating items with urine at grocery stores.
Well, that escalated pretty quickly. That escalated. Well, that's unfortunate. That took a while.
Online sex workers are doing whatever it takes to get paid these days, and we're
Let's not call it work. Let's call it what it is. It is prostitution, and let's call it that. It is that, so let's call it that.
starting to see some of it is crossing the line legally in serious ways.
An OnlyFans fetish encounter ends with a murder charge.
From hunting barely legal men in foreign countries to selling videos of yourself urinating on fresh produce and, of course, killing a man in a saran.
The shit's just getting worse and worse. It's just getting worse and worse. It just keeps getting worse. I'm eating steak with garlic sauce and tabasco at the moment. Not bad. Pretty good, pretty good. That's just diabolical. It just gets worse.
Rap kink session gone wrong. These are the many crimes and controversies of OnlyFans creators. Bonnie Blue gets arrested after looking for barely legal men in Indonesia.
And you can't tell me that's creepy. That's creepy. I'm gonna say this the way it is. That's creepy. Because honestly, if you could go younger, you would. That's just creepy. Just outright. I'm not gonna, right? I'm gonna say it. That's just outright creepy. That's just outright creepy. I know this already that she did that, but it's just outright creepy.
Bonnie Blue, man, you look into the eyes of this woman and there's just something demonic going on here.
Yeah, she has the 1,000 cock stare. Wait, is she why does she look pregnant in here? Hi, friend. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hello.
These two boys are about to take me to Paris. Yes, I'm pregnant, but hopefully I can give my baby a twin.
Bonnie.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna skip this one. I might skip this one. Huh?
Bonnie is, without much exaggeration, the real-life version of a...
See? Here, the question isn't who's the father. Here, the question is who isn't.
Succubus. She seemingly made it her mission to seduce and bang as many men possible during her time here on planet Earth. She was a bizarre yet dismissible oddity at first, but over time her stunts have gotten downright disturbing and difficult to ignore for a variety of reasons.
I am going to do a world record of 1,000 men in 24 hours.
This is what my face looks like after taking 1,000 men less than 12 hours ago.
What's the craziest thing you've done sexually?
She has the 1,000 cocks there, and I'm gonna say it the way it is. She does have it. Wow, that's miserable. That's actually quite miserable. It just is. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we even putting these fuckers on TV?
Slept with a father and son at the same time.
Oh.
Guys, it's just...
Can we black hole? Bro, nothing escapes her. Nothing. She even ruins women. So there's that. Can we classify this as incest? By any chance?
Incest? What's the big deal? Let a woman have her kinks. You guys already know she's a degenerate sex freak, but what about her getting locked up in jail? How did that happen? In the summer of 2025, Bonnie Blue got banned.
Well, I guess the inmates are gonna have fun. The female ones, I guess. Whatever.
And from OnlyFans after announcing plans to get fucked inside of a glass box by 2,000 men in public. They banned her and then she moves to Fansly, subsequently announcing
Have I heard that correctly? I haven't heard that correctly, have I?
banned from OnlyFans after announcing plans to get fucked inside of a glass box by 2,000 men in public. They
2,000! This woman is giving, woman is putting up the numbers. She is giving us the numbers, the heart numbers. And heart they are indeed.
banned her and then she moves to Fansly, subsequently announcing a new stunt. She was gonna go on a world sex tour making content, one that eventually finds her on the island of Bali in Southeast
The zoo thingy? Yeah, but I didn't know it was 2,000 men. I know it was 2,000 dudes. Apparently making corn is illegal in Indonesia anyways.
Asia. And for those of you who don't know, Bali is a province and subject of Indonesia. Indonesia being a country with extreme obscenity laws. You can face years of prison time if you're caught with porn, not to mention making it. Let's just say Bonnie Blue took Indonesia's dogmatic porn laws as a personal challenge. On arrival to Bali, Bonnie announced she was looking for barely legal schoolies to bang. And for those of you who don't know, schoolies are Australian teenagers who just graduated high school and are celebrating by going on vacation.
Hey boys, those that are going to schoolies and to those that are barely legal, cannot wait to meet you, and I'm in Bali, so you know exactly what that means.
In early December of 2025, Bonnie was seen in the Kuta and Legian area of Bali, riding around the resort island in a blue truck with giant text.
Sticking it in would just disintegrate you. And yes, I mean that as graphic as you can imagine. Sticking it in would just disintegrate you. Not even holy water could clean you. This is a demon. This woman is a demon. 100%. Good lord. Good fucking lord.
On it that spelled out bang bus. She was picking up barely legal men and they were just gonna, test out the new flavors of bang energy. Nah, she was actually just gonna have sex with them and film it, allegedly. Balinese investigators naturally suspected she was making some of her signature forbidden content in their country illegally. So they started following her movements, which led them to a full-blown content studio. On December 4th, 2025, police raided Bonnie's compound near the island's capital city of Denpasar. There they also found the bang bus and also seized a treasure trove of gooning paraphernalia, implicating the self-described OnlyFans slut in the crime. They found camera equipment, laptops, phones, hard drives, flash drives, contraceptives, lubricant, and 2 sheets of Viagra pills. I'm sure they were just filming a chemical.
If you want to go for barely legal dudes, why do you need Viagra? Ew, bro. Is this even a woman? Can we even classify this as a woman? Like, can we even consider this a woman? Should we even give her human rights? Does this even classify as human?
Reaction for a school science project.
Whoa! Check it out! It looks like the volcano erupted.
Upon uncovering Bonnie's secret laboratory, Blue, along with 3 other men, 2 British guys and 2 Australians, would be detained. 16 other supposed witnesses ranging from ages 19 to 40 were probed and questioned as well. They were probably just helping with the science project, Each witness denied any pornographic activity had occurred, claiming that they were taking part in a, quote, entertainment-themed reality show.
Reality it was indeed, and probably also a show. No, she's a new form of STD. It's just like chlamydia mega evolved, and this is what came out. Guys, I tell you over and over, don't nut into the sink. This is what comes out in the ocean. This is what it is. This is what happens. Boys, I told you not to do this.
and that the scenes were, quote, playful and humorous, unquote. You can say that all right. According to Bonnie, the detectives had a little bit of fun while detaining her, allegedly using her phone to go through her contacts and brag to people, calling them saying that they had caught Bonnie Blue.
Videoing and then also FaceTiming their friends as well, just to say, oh my God, it's Bonnie Blue, putting the camera in my face.
Bonnie, despite being, infamous for being the chick that got dogged out by 1,000 dudes in one night, claimed that the jail that she was in was unsanitary.
Toilets without toilet paper.
Oh no. The toilets, this place was unsanitary. Oh no. What do you think? What do you think it looked like when you got the 1,000 dudes? Do you think that wasn't unsanitary, you weirdo?
Hygiene was not a thing.
After around 30 hours of detainment, Bonnie was finally released, though her Balinese hell only continued, as authorities had seized her passport, phone, and liquid cash pending investigation. She was essentially stranded and without passport. You could say that leaving the country for her would be barely legal.
Thanks, I hate it. But yeah, technically, he isn't wrong. He isn't wrong. It is barely legal. I'm assuming that she got paid money from somehow else. I'm assuming she got money somewhere else. Let's not deny that. Wouldn't that just mean she probably hoard herself out more? Technically.
A truly bizarre video would be shared to the internet around this time, showing Bonnie speaking to local press surrounded by officers. She's licking a lollipop suggestively the entire time and looks like she's about to suck the soul out of everyone in the room with a succubus siphon ability.
I can face any amount of men.
Okay, so you're ready to face the traffic allegation of traffic?
There's nothing I can't face, also.
Fuck. Indeed. At least she got interesting humor. What the fuck? I didn't see that coming. I can't face anything. Wow.
Initially, Bonnie was reportedly facing up to 12 years in an Indonesian prison along with a $360,000 fine for producing pornography. However, after further investigation of the evidence by police, they couldn't find any elements of supposed pornography or any unlawful distribution. So if any porno recording happened, they didn't find any of it when they reviewed her drives. The only things the Balinese really had on Bonnie and her staff at this point were 4 of them allegedly misusing their stay permits. Like a visa issue. In light of this, the judge over Bonnie's case chose to drop all charges related to pornography due to insufficient evidence. Bonnie, however, was found guilty for a minor traffic.
I am unfortunately very disappointed. And Pug, do you like the video so far? Pretty nice, pretty nice. The 1,000 cock stare is back again.
Offense, and was ordered to pay a fine of 200,000 rupiahs, which is about $12 USD. Afterwards, her confiscated gooning equipment, school science project, was returned to Bonnie and...
Why even make her pay anything at all? She literally just paid $12. What are you on about? That fine should have been astronomically more high.
Well, she was deported, banned from visiting the country for a decade. For those of you holding on to any hope that Bonnie didn't actually record a school science experiment, I'm sorry to share with you this interview statement that she later gave to The Hollywood Reporter. The interviewer asked this: "Was the reason they didn't find evidence because you hadn't started filming?" And Bonnie replies with, quote, "I had finished filming that video, but there's a thing called the delete button, and it's quite handy when you need it to be."
So she took back shots for nothing. In other words, she took back shots for nothing.
Unquote. I rest my case. After her deportation and return to London, Bonnie was quick to remind everyone how much of a quirked up psycho she truly is, posting this insane and sexually provocative video, bragging about how she's gonna get dick down outside of the Bali embassy in London.
Apparently, I disrespected the Bali culture, but that is nothing compared to the disrespect these boys are about to show me.
In response to Bonnie threatening to nut on their flag, the Indonesian Foreign Ministry issued this statement, quote, "The red and white flag is a symbol of sovereignty, honor, and national identity that must be respected by everyone." Indonesian authorities would file a complaint to London police once the footage went viral, and on March 16, 2026, due to the publicity stunt, London authorities would charge Bonnie with outraging public decency. The charge came via postal requisition, and she is to appear.
And let me guess, how much did she pay? $12? Again?
Here at the Westminster Magistrates Court on April 22nd of 2026. She faces up to 6 months in prison if convicted. You are summoned to the
I am probably... Yeah, she totally didn't give them a happy end. Get it, Poke? I'm aware, bro. So, let me reconsider this, okay? Let me reconsider this. Does that mean she's probably not in jail? Otherwise, we would have heard of this, because, right, this is in the past. So, she's probably not in jail. I am sad about this. I am depressed about this. She should be in jail. Would have been funny.
Magistrates Court on multiple counts of felony gooning. How do you plead? In response to this charge, Bonnie Blue would tell a magazine, quote, "I'm feeling fine. I'm going to reveal and answer all of the questions regarding me being charged in my latest gangbang video. It will be a very explicit video. Anyone that's intrigued about my charges can have their questions answered while I'm doing what I do best." Yes, journalists, I'm afraid if you want updates on this case, you're gonna have to be balls deep inside of her as you perform the interview.
What the fuck? What on earth? What on earth do you mean? Fucking. Yeah, fucking indeed. That's just insane. That's just insane. I'm sorry, but that's just insane.
Better invest in a pack of Trojans and some antibiotics if you want the scoop on this one. Now, OnlyFans models are just one of many potentially troublesome entities online. One that's far worse is a hacker with your personal data. Right now, your full name, email, phone number, home address, and date of birth are likely floating around on the internet, and you have data brokers to thank for this. Today's sponsor, Incogni, can help identify this personal information and get it removed from the web for good.
Incogni. Anyways.
You see, these brokers, they play fast and loose with your personal data, collecting it in the background while you browse the internet over time, and they sell it to advertisers. And because these brokers only care about profit and not security, them having your personal info—
Lord have mercy, I hate hoes. Help! Why is there so many of these?
puts you at huge risk for data breaches and identity theft. Incogni does what would be virtually impossible for you to do on your own, tracking down the data brokers that have your information online and submitting information removal requests on your behalf. Doing this by yourself would take days, and honestly, I don't think you'd have much success. When signing up for Incogni, I was shocked to find out how many brokers had been peddling my data. Incogni indicated 245 instances of my personally identifying information on the web, and they sent requests to take down each occurrence. Within a few days, they got my data off the internet for good, and many of the brokers were compelled to put me on a suppression list, meaning they won't be able to collect my data in the future. Guys, I'm telling you, you'll be shocked when you find out just how much of your personal information is out there. It's time to bust the data broker. Take back your—
Buddy, every company in that grandma sells your data. It's not the even the government sells your data. Trust me, Incogni doesn't save you. It doesn't.
Personal data with Incogni. Use code wavywebsurf at checkout to get 60% off an annual plan. And that's at incogni.com/wavywebsurf. OnlyFans bop duo gets thrown off plane for disgusting activity. Meet internet sex workers, 34-year-old Sonia Blanchard and 31-year-old Jordan.
I've never heard of these, but you can tell what you know already what they are. From the looks of it, you'd know what they are. Never heard of these. That's going to be pretty interesting. I've never heard of these chicks.
Lantry, better known by their industry names Sonia Mallory and Lacey Jane, respectively. Seemingly filled with more Botox than a Bogdanov twin, these two salacious social media starlets recently found themselves behind bars.
Oh, plastics. They are made of plastics. They are just made of plastics. That's pretty interesting.
After an alcohol-inspired stunt went wrong at an airport. On January 9th, 2026, these two were in the process of boarding a return flight from Miami, Florida. Reportedly, they were there celebrating Sonia's birthday, but despite the vacation being over, it appears the party was continuing all the way to the airline gate for them. Allegedly, both women had been drinking and while boarding their flight were acting belligerent, recording and publishing to the internet videos of them twerking, attempting handstands, and riding luggage while in line for the flight. After twerking and releasing her
at least it's just luggage and not people. You know, it could indeed be worse. Okay, enjoy. I got to go. Take care, GT. Bye-bye. I mean, it gets uploaded anyways.
foul seafood odor into the claustrophobic boarding tunnel.
Am I handicapped? Is that a rhetorical question? Because to me, it very much seems you are.
The bimbos then entered the plane, and their bucking of any decency or courteous behavior continues. Upon entering the plane, Sonia and Jordan plop down in first-class seats that they were reportedly not assigned to. When confronted about this, the sex-working seat switchers got testy with airline staff, admitting they were drunk and reportedly refused to move.
You have your boarding passes? That's crazy. No, we don't. Obviously, we're drunk and you guys don't want to deal with us. We don't have a boarding pass. The that one, cool. Look at us. Look at us. No. What? Where's this one? Look at us.
I find it pretty hilarious that these women have the audacity.
I feel disgusted just looking at it, like having to look at them. I don't know how that works, but it is the thing apparently.
To respond with, "That's crazy," when asked to show a boarding pass. When one of them is wearing a bright red sweatshirt that literally says psycho on it in fucking 100-point font, who's the crazy person here? Anyways, these two Botox-brained buffoons would linger on the plane for a bit longer until police finally stepped in, entering the plane and detaining them. In this recording, we hear Sonia complaining, and Jordan does what typically solves all of her problems. She opens up her legs.
I'm getting kicked out because I didn't sit in the right fucking seat.
Get up.
Oh my god.
Despite the...
What is wrong with these chicks? Genuinely, what is wrong with these chicks? These are such weirdos. Well, I guess the police had a lot of fun, because eventually I had to let them go.
Woman spreading her legs multiple times, the two were still arrested. Both sex entrepreneurs would be charged with misdemeanor trespassing on property after warning, and were taken to the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center in Miami for booking. According to court...
It's all plastics, chat. It's all plastic. These women are all plastic. 90% plastic.
Records, the women posted their $500 bails on January 13th and then later boarded another American Airlines flight. Around this time, Lantry wrote on social media, quote, "At American Air forgave us because we're hot and know how to do the splits." Unsurprisingly, these ingrates have attempted to use the viral clips from the incident and their own...
Ingrates is indeed a term I might use. That's pretty accurate. Ingrates is pretty accurate, because that's what they are. That's so gross, dude. It just is. Why are we even doing this?
mugshots to profit and funnel gooners into their paid pages. They've openly shared their mugshots online with captions like, "Guess what we did," and "Went on vacation and ended up on probation." A merch line has even been released. And fine, whatever, make your bag, but for the guys out there subscribing to this stuff, buddy, it's time to really think about where your life is at this moment.
It is indeed a moment of buddy. You absolute degen. Like, you could spend your money on so much better stuff. But you decide to spend it on this. You decide to spend your money on, right, something you just get for free. And that's just the truth.
It's not too late to fix things. You're better than this, man. As far as I know, Sonia has pled not guilty. Jordan Lantry, it's the same story. And a fact which I'm sure both of these women find hilarious is that their next hearing date is on 4/20. She busted it down in a middle school classroom. What this woman did, it was
That's just insane.
but it was gross as hell to say the least. Back in 2022, Samantha Peer worked as an 8th grade science teacher at Thunderbolt Middle School in Lake Havasu, Arizona. If you take a look at this girl, honestly, you wouldn't expect much out of the ordinary here. But behind the scenes, she was secretly engaging in some shocking behavior at Thunderbolt Middle. In early summer of 2022, under the pseudonym Chloe Carter, Samantha made her debut to OnlyFans, reportedly posting quirked up content to earn some supplementary income. Some of you are like, come on, Wavy, teachers don't get paid shit, let the girl cook. Just wait. So Chloe had a husband, his name was Dylan Peer.
Well, had. Understandable that she had. Understandable. She had a husband. She has no more husband. That much is clear. She doesn't have a husband anymore. That much is obvious.
He participated in this OnlyFans content with Samantha. He was also a teacher, an elementary school one at that. Okay, kind of weird for two children's teachers to make OnlyFans content together,
What is it with these weirdos doing this? In front of children, no less. Or like with, like, right? Because like she did it in front of class apparently, so something's got to be off.
Sus, but maybe not a complete deal breaker? Well, the catch is that she allegedly made OnlyFans content at the fucking middle school with the husband. According to reports, on OnlyFans, Samantha heavily leaned into the female teacher kink. In one OnlyFans promotional post, she reportedly shared her staff photo from the school's yearbook and added the caption, "Who wants to be my next teacher's pet?" Which is really fucking disgusting. Like, what are we getting into here? And as I mentioned previously, Samantha allegedly used her classroom to film OnlyFans content, the exact nature of which has been described by reports as being extremely explicit pictures and videos. So now we move to her getting
What? Explicit pictures? OF? Who would have guessed?
Exposed for exposing herself online. Now, how exactly the cat got out of the bag is murky, but apparently other teachers were the first to find out about Samantha's degenerate side hustle, and whisperings of her OnlyFans spread around. Sadly, some of the middle school students would later discover the teacher's OnlyFans content as well, which is quite a grotesque situation and is exactly why you should.
Yeah, imagine, like, right, you have like a teacher, she's really nice, and then you know she's a whore, and like she takes back shots. That's not fun. That's really not all that fun.
Shouldn't do OnlyFans if you're an educator of children, by the way. Seems like a pretty serious conflict of interest if you ask my opinion. Action would come when on October 24th, 2022, a member of the local community spoke up and complained to the school board about Samantha's behavior. As a result, the OnlyFans educator would be placed on paid administrative leave and probation. However, when these punishments were issued, Samantha opted simply to resign, doing so on October 31st, 2022. The husband would also no longer be employed as a teacher as a result of these discoveries. This story stayed on the down.
But it said she had a he said she had a husband, so did he divorce? Well, he can't really divorce after this one, huh? Seeing her take them and then be in her class would be quite something. Doesn't sound too fun. You could always you could also just like straight up bully her and tease her about it, which is like very interesting, right? As a student. That's the fun part.
Down low for about a week, but it eventually started to get out of the local community. There was much misinformation initially, with some believing Samantha had filmed the OnlyFans content during school hours, but that wasn't the case. Like, it's still bad what she did, but thankfully it wasn't that bad. On November 7th, Thunderbolt Middle published this regarding the continued spread of the recently unemployed Samantha's material. Quote, "It has come to our attention that students have been airdropping explicit material. The images did not happen during the..."
They're just airdropping pictures of coochie back and forth. No fucking way. How could you do, as a teacher, no less, as a teacher, how could you do this as a teacher, mind you?
School day, and the person depicted no longer works for LHUSD. Please remove all images from your child's phone and talk with them about the appropriate use of technology. Days later, a publication called the Arizona Family Article managed to interview a couple of parents who spoke on how Samantha's reckless venture had affected their kids, with one parent seemingly making reference to a desk that was used in the...
Bruh, that's just weird. Guys, I have to get up. There's a wasp in here. Hold up. Wasp eliminated. Threat eliminated. Threat eliminated. Threat eliminated. We can back to it. Threat has been eliminated. Ugh. Terrifying. How the fuck did you even get in? Ugh.
Content, and pointing out how that desk was used by a child that she knew, which sat in the desk on a regular school day, which is really disturbing to think about. Quote, "That was my friend's daughter."
Imagine your teacher took back shots on your desk. Now a question if that ever happened when I was in school. And if that was you.
Daughter's desk, said one mother, and she is mortified over the situation. Like, that's my desk. She has no care knowing students have seen her everything and on students' desks. Another parent says, quote, "I am absolutely outraged. Our kids shouldn't have been exposed to this. If it was just an OnlyFans account, I wouldn't be as upset because that would 100% be on the kids' parents. But this was public and an easy Google search to find everything." The story completely exploded, and Samantha really did look like, well, to put it lightly, a disgusting freak. I mean, I used to work in a hospital, and never in my right mind would I ever think to record some kind of sex act in a professional...
Imagine you get brought into a hospital, and later you find out that a dude and a chick did their OnlyFans stuff in the bed you were laying. Yeah, I wouldn't be too excited either.
Public setting like that. Not to mention one where kids are going to be attending class the next morning. It's just totally unhinged. Samantha knew that she looked like a piece of shit, and of course would chime in with her own side of the story.
Hello, my name is Samantha Peer, or some of you might know me by my alias, Chloe Carter. I was an employee at Thunderbolt for 5 years.
The woman would later publish a YouTube video, essentially whining about being broke, and makes attempts to shift blame to other educators at the school, alleging that the teachers were the cause of kids eventually discovering the content, claiming that they never would have found her stuff without the adults meddling into her extracurricular affairs.
It wasn't until...
Oh no, I am broke, and oh no! Ruined my... Yeah, no shit. Fafo? Fafo is accurate here. Fafo fits perfectly. You effed around in the most literal sense possible, and you found out in a not so literal sense. Also very little.
Sunday, November 6th, when I had not been a teacher for the school district for 6 days, that my social media used for advertising became viral. November 6th was the first day that previous students and community members began following my alias account. Other school teachers were notified of the site and they began to spread it amongst themselves. Those teachers also were telling students my anonymous name and showing them my page. This was also sent to the parents, and they decided to do the same thing as well. They were sharing my anonymous name and content page with their children and allowing them to comment and follow on my accounts, although they are specifically labeled as not safe for work.
Samantha also highlights that the leaking of her content and the humiliation associated with that ruined her life for the time, causing her to be harassed.
Parents are still allowing their students to follow, contact, harass, and intimidate me. These parents are posting my personal address online and threatening to show my underage children revenge porn. Community members are now going to public places such as my gym and threatening to cancel their membership because their children also go there. The gym owner chose to terminate my membership, although I had been a member for 4 years, because other juvenile members were harassing me by taking my picture and videotaping me while I was trying to work out. Looking back at the situation, I wholly regret creating the video in the classroom after school hours. But I felt trapped in my financial situation, and I felt this was the only way that my family would be able to survive.
You what?
All the excuse making and woe is meing and trying to rationalize the creation of the sex content within a school building at all is insane. You were leaning into the pervy teacher kink and leveraged your role as an
You risked it. And those were the consequences. You risked it, and those were the consequences. Oh no! Shock.
educator in this weird fetishized way on OnlyFans, using a facility meant for educating children as a venue for recording adult content. It's both morally and ethically reprehensible, and in my opinion, you deserved what happened to you. You got off easy here. Samantha would not only lose her job in teaching, but her side hustle as well. On November 13th, 2022, her OnlyFans account was deactivated, and she was reportedly blocked from making additional ones. Writing on social media, quote, "So it seems OnlyFans deactivated both accounts and is blocking me from making accounts." OnlyFans would respond, citing their terms of service, stating that extreme or criminal sexual activity is forbidden on the platform and that Samantha broke those guidelines by filming a video in a classroom. Quote, "Content creators can face penalties if public nudity is recorded in a country where it is illegal and if it is in an area where the public is, quote, reasonably likely to see activities being performed," unquote. Basically, Samantha ended up losing.
So basically, you just committed a crime. In other words, she committed a crime. That's what it was. She committed a crime, and that's what you got out of this. It's literally that. It's literally that. She committed a crime.
Both of her jobs. Though that wouldn't stop her from pursuing her sex work aspirations, as she subsequently opened up Fansly and Fanview accounts. Yeah, that's right. This weird lady hasn't seemed to learn much. I mean, this woman just seems so immature. Take a look at this post. It's just really freaky stuff. In February of 2023, Samantha would take to Twitter to vent about her frustrations against an individual who she claims supposedly exposed her back at the school, writing, quote, "In November, a family friend decided to expose my identity to the national news. This morning, I realized her husband..."
That's unhinged as fuck. She's just like there to say like cheat. Is she like planning to cheat? Okay, that's crazy work right there.
And I work out at the same time in the morning. Karma is coming for you, fucking cunt. Exposed your identity? Like, what's the bigger issue here? I feel like you making OnlyFans content at a school is far worse. Like, you're no victim. Many in the reply speculated that she planned on seducing the woman's husband, though Samantha shut down the idea, writing, quote, "I just don't understand how karma equates to me fucking another man. I've literally been having great sex with the same man for a decade, and for all y'all that are ruining my surprise, my revenge was to buy her shitty food truck when she goes out of business soon, don't worry, and host a shooting party in the desert with it."
Yeah, I kinda don't. Yeah, I don't believe that. By the way, I got 52 likes. What the fuck, Twitter? What are you doing? She should have known it could happen, and when she made... Yeah, that's like the thing. People found out. Wow, a shock. Truly shocking. They found out.
Jesus Christ. Glad to see we've learned something here and matured after reckoning with a potentially life-ruining decision. Pooping on floors and peeing on produce for OnlyFans money.
Now we get into the juicy stuff. Now we're getting to the juicy stuff.
You need to make a quick buck on OnlyFans, why not appeal to the fetishes of online weirdos? 23-year-old Kelly Tedford of Keene, New Hampshire was once a shopper at Keene's local grocery, Monadnock Food Co. However, she was doing more than just browsing the veggies and produce, she was discharging on them. You see, Kelly had a bizarre side hustle on OnlyFans. Going by the name Kinky Kelly, the woman secretly documented herself urinating on food products within the store and in other retail locations around town, placing this content...
It just gets worse and worse, continuously, mind you. It just gets worse and worse. Continuously.
And behind a paywall, freak gooners would subscribe to watch this sick kink content, and she made decent money in this way, charging people $15 a month to have unlimited access to her urination updates. Guys, why are we watching this stuff? Who hurt you? Kelly felt empowered and cute when she peed on fruits and vegetables. Her OnlyFans bio read,
What the fuck? She isn't even that good looking. Nasty? That is more than just nasty. That's downright criminal. It just is. That's just downright criminal. It's just downright a crime. Fetish kink friendly. Extremes to... What do you mean by this? Wow.
quote, submissive pixie, fetish kink friendly. Extremes too. Teehee. Yo, what? Why did I just do that? Hell nah. It's
little zesty out here. Makes sense though. Wow. Let's see, right? We have 12 minutes more to go of this video. It can't get much worse, right? It can't. It cannot get much worse.
said that Kelly would take personal requests from subscribers. Maybe they wanted to see her pee on a gourd or stick a cucumber up her ass. Who knows? Whatever the case, she'd do it, I've been told. Kelly's yellow-tinted exploits ranged beyond just the grocery store. She also is allegedly
fish? Urinating of food items that aren't even yours, by the way. Sounds very cute. Cute and funny. Adorable. Fish. Beta fish? What does that...
pissed in a Petco fish enclosure. So there's that to get...
Never mind! Life animals too! Life animals. Animals, boys and girls. Animals. Cute. Adorable. What an adorable woman. What a nice woman.
Disgusted and upset about as well. And look at the username of her account where she confessed to the peeing thing on the fish. Just Pee Princess, DMs open. Love that. Kelly allegedly engaged in this behavior for not months but multiple years, making it her full-time job. But we wouldn't be
making a full-time job pissing in an aquarium, essentially. Is that
here if she didn't get caught. Back on February 10th, 2025, Kelly decided to record another video of her contaminating grocery surfaces and food with urine. But for reasons that I'm unsure of, it seems one of her gooner simps were unsatisfied with the quality of the content or something, because somebody reported it to the local authorities in Keene. The police claim they received an anonymous report that Kelly had, quote,
yeah, thankfully. Thankfully. Maybe it was also just leaks. Somebody always buys it, and then, wait a minute, that's fucked up. They got the golden shower they didn't deserve. They got the golden shower they didn't ask for, indeed.
Posted disturbing videos to an internet site. In their investigation, they found out who Kelly was, and they correlated the store that she had peed at. Monadnock Food Co-op was notified that their shelves and items may have been drenched in her bodily fluid.
Fresh and organic. They come with fresh liquid too, it appears. What the fuck?
On February 21st, 2025, Kelly was arrested and charged with felony criminal mischief. In the wake of her arrest, Monadnock Food Co. issued a recall of several organic foods they had sold, which reportedly had piss on them. Quinoa, cornmeal, polenta, coconut shreds, and raw walnuts purchased between the dates of February 10th and the 15th of that year were at risk. That's when the urine was unleashed. While thankfully no customers ended up consuming tampered goods, Kelly's alleged activity cost the store $1,500 in lost produce after they had to dispose of the, allegedly urine-soaked stuff. I want to make something clear here. Some initial reports claim that Kelly worked at the grocery store. That's not true. She just went there to make content, apparently. So what would become of the OnlyFans pisser after the arrest? Kelly...
jail, hopefully, at least for a few months. That's gotta be few months, because she's doing it again, trust me. The moment she sets foot onto the street, or supermarket in this case, particularly probably the fruit section, she's gonna do it again. She's gonna try it again.
Tedford was later released on a personal recognizance bail. By the time she had gotten out of jail, the story was blowing up online, and some would speak up claiming they were actually aware of her exploits before the arrest. You couldn't have said anything about this before, bruh? A Redditor would write, "Oh god, this woman? So I'm from New Hampshire and this is an incredibly strange crossover, but I can shed some light. Bad news is this is real. That right there is Kelly Tedford. Good news is she was already arrested and charged the other day, not for this, but for contaminating co-op produce with her piss. She does this for OnlyFans money at various locations on various objects. And she's been doing it for a long time, but finally got caught. Does not surprise me that she'd do this, but it's definitely disturbing since I used to be a CAL in the area. Would be fucking livid to learn she'd come into my store and done this to my fish." People also found Kelly's old TikTok accounts and rated it. In the comments, you can see they've dubbed her the grocery pisser.
The grocery. Well, yeah. 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 Indeed. Indeed.
Unfortunately, as this investigation carried on, it turns out that she was defiling more than just groceries. In April of 2025, authorities allegedly uncovered video evidence of Kelly at a Marriott hotel in Keene from a stay back in January of that year. And while there, she allegedly filmed herself urinating on the hotel curtains, a Bible, a comforter, the air conditioner, and other items in the room. There's also allegations that she recorded herself defecating on the floor and placed the feces in the toilet's tank. Yo, like, why is she doing a handicapped assist upper decker? What the fuck? The discovery of said acts resulted in 5 new counts of criminal mischief being added. When it came time to
5. That sounds pretty reasonable if you ask me. That's pretty reasonable if you ask me. 5 is pretty reasonable. Probably more. It should be more. I think jail time for a few months should be it.
To litigate this in court, Kelly's public defender made the argument that Kelly was just kinda fucked up in the head, but wasn't malicious, describing her as a, quote, vulnerable, traumatized young woman and not a malicious and dangerous person who is out to cause chaos and intending to harm people. I would describe urinating on produce, filming it, shitting on the floor, filming it for profit, no less, as pretty chaotic.
Girl didn't care about anything. Girl didn't care about anything. Yeah, not malicious, my ass. She knew exactly what she was doing because she was selling it online. What are you on about? What?
But I'll just shut up, I guess. As like many of these somewhat petty court cases do, Kelly's would end in a plea agreement. Kinky Kelly Tedford would have her felony charges reduced to misdemeanors in exchange for a guilty plea to all 6 of them. And with that, she was sentenced to 360 days in jail, with 180 of those suspended for 3
Good. Jail time, a little bit at least. I think that's good.
years, along with 2 years of probation upon her release. Oh, and Kelly was ordered to pay $11,000 in restitution to the Monadnock Co-op and the Marriott Hotel that she affected. As a part of the sentencing agreement, Kelly faces additional jail time if she's caught participating in any of her old body fluid exploits. Guys, hide your produce in the meantime. You don't want to get Kelly excited. We need to help this girl stay out of jail. The OnlyFans saran wrap fetish death. Yeah.
What? Okay, now it's getting outrageous. This is getting outrageous. This is getting outrageous. It just keeps getting worse. Okay. This is getting out of control. This is indeed getting out of control.
Save this one for last. In 2023, 29-year-old Michaela Relarsdam was working as a sex worker and OnlyFans content creator, going by the name Ashley Sincal on OnlyFans. Though she wasn't totally reliant on OnlyFans, Michaela also had her own adult entertainment company, formed in part with her husband. That venture was SynCal Entertainment, a company billed as the #1 adult party entertainment service in California. So think like male or female strippers that you can hire into private events and stuff like that. Oh, and another lane that Michaela dabbled in was escort services, and that's where the trouble begins. In March of 2023, a 56-year-old man named Michael Dale found an online listing for Michaela's escort services. What happens next isn't an immediate meetup, but is actually calls and texts exchanged between the two, wherein the guy is like simping and seemingly begging for her to do freaky shit to him. This goes on for about a month, with Michael making hardcore requests, specifically asking for BDSM sexual activity done to him, allegedly telling her that he wanted to be wrapped up like
wait, she's going to murk him. She's going to murk him. Isn't it? She's going to murk him. That's the only logical conclusion I can come to. She's going to murk him. Oh well.
a mummy, specifically stating that he wanted to be wrapped in saran wrap and that he wanted a pair of women's boots gorilla glued to his feet. And well, it appears.
Okay, bro, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with some of you dudes? I gotta say this. What is wrong with some of you dudes? Why is it always the old ones getting that freaky, by the way? Wow.
Michaela would take up Michael's request. In April of 2023, Michael invited Michaela to his home in Escondido, California, offering her more than $11,000 to do the aforementioned activities. Even if somebody was going to pay me right, I would be extremely skeptical to go over to some stranger's house and wrap them up like a mummy. Like, you know, what if something bad happened, like a death? And I'm sure maybe Michaela thought that. Michaela's husband, a man named Brandon, encouraged his wife to participate in this activity. So like, she was like, well, if everybody's on board, I'm just gonna go do it. According to police affidavits, on April 17th, 2023, Michaela arrived at the man's residence at around 6 p.m., reportedly noting that he seemed intoxicated. Despite this, the two went ahead with their pre-described plan. A truly bizarre BDSM suffocation ritual would take.
What the fuck is wrong with the freaky? That doesn't even come close to what this is. This is not just freaky. This is downright just diabolical. Why on earth would you do that to yourself? Why on earth would you subject yourself to this? Like, why? Why would you do this?
Take place. According to a police affidavit, quote, Michael had duct tape over his mouth, a plastic bag over his head, more saran wrap around that, and then duct tape wrapped around his face and head, securing all the layers to his head. He also appeared to have saran wrapped around his neck tightly. Seemingly under the impression that this is what he wanted, Michaela allegedly filmed much of the requests made by Michael during their interactions, and she had planned to later upload this footage to OnlyFans. While David was wrapped up, she was recording content near him, even performing a sex act on herself with a vibrator in one of the video clips. She was also sending texts and videos to her husband while it was going on.
They was sitting there topless, masturbating with a vibrator, lip syncing to the music. The pants down to Mr. Dale laying at her feet, motionless, still wrapped up the same exact way.
I have no words. I can't even say anything. That's just straight up diabolical. Even the dude, right, the bald dude is like, god damn, bro.
She might have been resting her foot on it. Shows her face briefly, pans down, and shows Mr. Dale briefly laying motionless on the floor, and the majority of it is zoomed in on her crotch as she uses the vibrator.
I think at this point, it's fair to say, whether intentional or not, what we have here is the creation of a snuff film, and it ended in deadly fashion. At approximately 10:10 p.m., after 4 hours had passed, Michaela observed that Mr. Dale was in distress and unresponsive. Dale's roommates were notified. Yes, he had roommates at home at the time of this happening, by the way. The roommate instructed the OnlyFans creator to call 911, and Michaela then performed CPR on the unresponsive man.
I went into Michael Dale's room, and he was laying on the floor, not breathing, and that's when I was like, you know, we need to call 911.
Police arrived.
Degenerates. Degenerates. Absolute degeneracy.
arrived at the scene to find Michael unconscious and Michaela performing CPR. According to a police affidavit, she denied placing anything over Mr. Dale's head and told the cops that this was the first time that she had ever engaged in any type of
4 hours, 4 hours. 4 hours.
fetish behavior. Michael Dale would be rushed to the local hospital where he was then declared brain dead, and a few days later he was taken off life support and died. The San Diego County Medical Examiner's Office ruled the cause of death to be asphyxia, classifying it as a homicide. However, Michaela wasn't immediately arrested. Initially, the case read to investigators as like a man's BDSM kink request going wrong, you know, almost as if he had asked for this. And while that is, I guess, somewhat true, evidence discovered later seemingly shows Michaela may have taken things a step further than Michael intended. At the time of the incident, Michaela surrendered her phone to police, and over time in their investigation, authorities found a series of troubling videos on Michaela's cell phone, many of which showed Michael Dale visually displaying signs of having trouble breathing, with his hands bound and fingers covered in duct tape, as well as his legs plastic wrapped, making it impossible to remove, you know, any of this material if he really did need to breathe and it was going too far. Some of the videos they found were taken literally minutes before the OnlyFans content creator had dialed 911. Authorities later concluded that there was no evidence that he ever requested Michaela to place a bag over his head and secure it. They came to the conclusion that she took it to a level he didn't want. Almost 2 years later, on February 19, 2025, Michaela was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, and she was taken to jail in San Diego County, held without bail. She pled not guilty, and a preliminary hearing was held on September 3, 2025. Prosecutors argued that the facts surrounding the case point to a second-degree murder charge, and Michaela's defense is, you know, saying this was a tragic accident, a sex act gone too far, and they also emphasized that she tried to help the guy. Whatever the case.
Well, it isn't particularly surprising now, is it? Right? Yeah, that is horrible. That is horrible. See, you can, in fact, see where degeneracy leads us. Right? You can indeed see that.
Michaela is facing some potentially serious prison time if convicted. It'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out, given how uncharted this territory feels. And well, guys, you made it to the end of the video. Let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section, and let me know who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate.
Well, that's the end of the video, and I see man-made horrors now beyond my comprehension. Yeah, OnlyFans needs to go. And Fansly too, mind you. Just all of them. All the paid services. Because if they're not paid, there's no incentive to get, to go this route. There's all there is to it. Wow, that was miserable. That was horrible.